You cannot be, in any sense, be genuinely introvert.
Obviously.
You cannot choose to be introvert anymore. The world needs expression. Non-acceptance of the uncertainty is the reason of the hue and cry that we make. I see Wooble Me as something which will bring out the whole of me and the truth of me at one point. Startups to think about is that if in any nature you want to be unique, the uniqueness will only come if you address a recognized problem.
Welcome back to Wooble Nexus with your host Akash Jaiswal. Today's episode features an interview with Durga Prasad Gouda, Chief Operating Officer at AIC-Nalanda Institute of Technology Foundation, focusing on career growth and skillful leadership from academia to leadership. Additionally, this episode will delve into the importance of portfolios in shaping a student's career path. Stay tuned for an inspiring and knowledge-packed episode aimed at sparking action, promoting student achievement, and career excellence. A heartfelt welcome to Durga sir, the Chief Operating Officer of AIC-Nalanda Institute of Technology Foundation, Bhubaneswar. Sir, your esteemed position and outstanding achievements make you a guiding light for our event today. We want to express our deep appreciation for your generous presence. Your willingness to share your expertise promise to enrich the learning experience for everyone in our team is really remarkable. Let's start with a quick icebreaker. If you were stranded on a deserted island and you could only bring 3 items with you, what would those 3 items be?
First of all, thank you, Akash, for having me here. It's a wonderful experience to sometimes embark upon a journey which is reflectory in nature and at the same time a path shower also, because we almost always have lost into this, I always say, the modern digitalized world that we normally consider to be, where we have missed these kind of moments where we have a little bit of that human element coming out more prudently. So thank you for making this possible, and it would be great to talk to you about multiple issues that we might come across in this discussion. And on the question that you have asked, on a deserted island, certainly not the mobile, because that's the first one I would like to get rid of. And those mobile these days have become, I always say, that one of the organs in our body, isn't it? So mobile is as much as an organ. You can stand a bit with the stomach aching or the heart running a little slow, your other organs not functioning in the usual way, but you cannot wait if the mobile charge goes down. You are certainly a kind of in a hijacked moment if you see that it's 2% and I have nothing to charge nearby, isn't it? So the mobile has become such an organic part of our, so not
Body.
So before to the do's, I'll tell about the don'ts, that not the mobile. The first thing I would like to take is certainly a book from my library that I have always kept very near to me. To name that, it's called Life Divine. It has, I believe, as a solution to a lot of intellectual things that I build up inside me. So a Life Divine book is a must that I would not like to spare, because while traveling also I carry it. Yeah, the second thing very dear to me is a diary that I keep on writing. Now, that's nostalgic for many people, but my diary is more than just a slam book or a daily note down. Are the people that I meet. So on the dates, I write names.
Okay.
So more than writing what happened with them, I just keep on writing new names if I've made them across today.
Okay.
And that person has some interest into, like, you want to see or meet once again that person in life. So I don't want to miss the first date when we missed.
Okay.
So that's a diary of names. I call it diary of names. I won't like to lose it. Even if I'm deserted, I would like to have that along with me. And because you say I'm on a deserted island, and such situations don't come as you expect, right? who would like to be deserted and not be cared about? People
Obviously.
these days always like to be a little more pampered
Yes.
and have people who keep you reminding that, man, you are responsible, you are
important.
you are important. So that attention seeking, I always used to say that it's called attention seeking syndrome, ASS, in a sense. So the third thing would be a small box of memories I have always kept with me. This normally have things that have mattered me most. Like I was once presented by my teacher a pen, the first pen in my school. I am that kind of person who preserves memories. So there's a small memory box with me.
Okay.
I would like that to be
Different
carried
gifts,
with me.
which means a lot.
Which means a lot. Which means a lot, and because that keeps you attached to the roots, to the values that you have always treasured for.
Yes.
So because from a psychological point of view, I am also a speaker at a lot of events where I talk to students about what it means to be into a domain where you are learning something. Because when you ask someone to learn something, you cannot teach them. Nothing can be taught. You cannot teach them.
Yeah. We can guide them.
You can guide them. You can help them in learning the same.
We can facilitate them.
Absolutely. If I start denying that I will not learn anything from you, then you can, at any cost, you cannot try to give me what I am supposed to have. But when you talk about a student, so a student keeps on learning. So that means he has kept a point somewhere in understanding that this is the right source of knowledge which I don't have. And I have agreed to take it from that person.
Yes.
So those values that keeps you attached in that learning process, it is intact throughout the life.
Exactly.
It has all the capacity to pull you back and put you in the same situation when you were into something difficult, but this rescued you out.
Yes.
So you don't want to leave those things.
Exactly. So they were kind of stays.
They keep on staying with you, and they keep you reminding of the moments where you held strong with that particular situation, and you can overcome one more.
Yes. So that was the reason. So sir, you talked about the book Divine Life.
Life Divine, yeah.
Life Divine. It is the name of the book.
Yes, the name of the book is The Life Divine. It's written by Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo is a poet, is a great writer in his own genius, but as we all know, he is also a freedom fighter at one point of time, and also has a great length of writings that he has written from the spiritual point of view of an individual as well as India as a nation. He was one of the most he was the protagonist, I would say, in the nationalist movement of the country. And it was during his presidency in the Surat that there was the bifurcation of Congress.
Okay. So I'll actually try to read.
Do read it, because it gives you a touch of spiritualism at the first, but then it tells you that how can actually your life go a turn out.
Yeah. Okay. So moving ahead with the next question, can you share 3 essential skills you believe every future leader should possess? 3 essential skills that every future leader should possess.
The capacity first would be the capacity to fight with an uncertainty. See, we make a lot of plans. You as a team also would be pinning down a lot of things to be done, right? Now you have your check boxes. Check 1, done. Now there's someone who is regulating it and is interdependable with the decisions that you have taken. It could be an external, it could be an internal part. And this checklist might not be the same that he is maintaining too.
Correct.
That is where uncertainties in life also come up, and in professional skills also. That's very essential that you have all the skills to fight with an uncertainty. You are doing something with a lot of dedication, lot of motivation, and you find that a small thing have come and destroyed the entire way that you had planned.
Exactly.
Now, to deal with a plan is easy because you have thought of it. To deal with a non-plan is also an equally important skill. That something goes completely astray of what we had thought about. So it's not about having another plan B or C. It's about when you don't have a plan B or C. To have a plan B or C is, again, you have kept something that will respond to if the A doesn't or the B doesn't. It's very much like that moment when you know that nothing else is going to work. So you should have a skill as a leader to handle with this uncertainty, because then a hell lot of people will be depending upon you to see that there's still a silver lining in the cloud.
Correct. So, sir, what is the way we can teach this idea to handle with uncertainty? Because we, as in education system, we are always taught to make a daily routine, to make a plan. Whether if you even if we are traveling on a vacation, we find it very good to plan it that okay, I will visit this particular place from this time to this time. I will have my lunch at this restaurant and everything. This is what the education system or our is taught upon. So how will the student learn to deal with uncertain things when it is not taught in education?
There are two aspects of it. If I say that we haven't been taught about also dealing with uncertainties, even that's not a possibility, because the moment you start planning about it, becomes certain that I had already had plans about it, right? But an uncertain has to be a completely uncertain moment when you haven't thought about it.
Yes.
First. Secondly, rightly said that we have been always taught to make plans, which is good. We have been told that you should think about as many ways it could go through, as many different results that can come across, or about the process also. How do you deal about something which you haven't planned or you haven't known about it? The biggest aspect of that is to have a positivity which tells you that whatever you have done has been in the right attitude of the things, and whatever you are aiming to do is actually going to be something that would help the other side for whom you are doing, because then you will be able to accept the other things which have come as uncertainty.
Yeah. So
not necessarily the uncertainties which we find as uncertainty is not certainty for somebody else who might have planning for it.
yes.
So non-acceptance of the uncertainty is the reason of the hue and cry that we make.
Yes.
Because we don't accept that the things can also happen in the other way around. I'll give you a very brief example of career for the students. That's how it takes. Parents plan it.
Yeah.
Students accept it, or children, as the parents have guided them or teachers have suggested them. They have taken it as a value principle and they have started working upon it. May it be any career pursuit they are upon. But then either your scores, either your interest into that topic, or the surrounding which is providing you all kind of inputs are not the way that you wanted to do it in the life. I have hundreds of my students when I was into education, as you said, when teaching students. After passing out, everybody looks towards the campus and they get a handsome job and they join, and then they keep on pinging you every Saturday, every weekend. So this is not working with me. I never intended to do this.
Yeah.
There was a student who said me, sir, either you tell me that what I should do, or I'm just ending with this and with the life. So that kind of pressure built up is always there. And again, because there's uncertainty that has reached you, you have never thought that the life would be this. Sometimes you desire a lot about this life, very fanciful things you have thought of, that I won't name it for the sake of not getting into controversies. but then you should know that people have some kind of always an idea that this job would be very lucrative.
Yeah.
These person, to be around these persons would be fine.
Yeah.
To work at this particular place or location would be great.
Yeah.
But when they enter into that, they find that there are challenges too. So those challenges, those risks, you will always find at every juncture of your life. The moment you lose the power of accepting that particular proposition or that particular situation is when you start struggling with that situation.
Yeah.
Because you have held high that it is unacceptable to me. So this belief that it is unacceptable has created the uncertainty in your life. So even if you plan, chat down, root out a lot of the things, whatever occurs, you should have a space in your heart, mind and soul to accommodate it.
Yeah. And be happy with it.
Be happy with it. I don't say then that you don't move out of it.
Yeah.
You have always have the option to move out of it, but at the present juncture, you should know how to deal with it.
And maybe extract the positive impact that has brought.
Yes.
That okay, though I was trying to be a doctor, but since I am a speaker at a particular or maybe a lecturer at a particular college, this experience has taught me this, which could not have been done other ways.
Rightly said. And this happens at a juncture when you hold high at the other situation which you're not expecting. Then you think that had that occurrence had not been in my life, I would not have come to this.
Exactly, because we with those experience we will go ahead and tell that okay, since I have this experience, I can vouch for another thing.
I'll take one more line from Life Divine, which says that everything that happens in your life is teleological. Teleological means it has a purpose.
Okay.
But often those purposes are not open.
Okay.
Because and they're not open because some part in me or something in me haven't ever thought about it. It has just propped in into my life.
Okay.
But when you achieve something or something better happens, then you remind that only that particular disturbance in my life has result to all these achievements
And
that
it's
I have
created.
come across.
So I remember from this line, Steve Jobs during the convocation at some university told that you can only connect the dots by looking back and not forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely.
So amazing. So moving on to the next question. If you could visit any country in the world right now, where would you go and what's the first thing you would do there?
Which country I would like to visit? Well, I would admit at this point of time that I have been always within the geographical periphery of India and never haven't used my passport yet. So so it's a good question to think about that which country I would like to visit first. But then with the current position that I am into, I would definitely love to see the Silicon Valley at its closest mode, because that gives us a view of how has been the transformation from an ecosystem point of view. What enables there for new age startups to come up. So owing to the position that I carry right now and to the field of occupation that I am into, I would love to see the Silicon Valley from a closest point of view.
To understand basically what turned out to be that magical.
Becoming the Silicon Valley.
That most of the startups, the technological startups are from there.
Yes.
And maybe I think your intention to go there is also to bring that culture into our ecosystem. So we can also produce similar ecosystem.
Yeah. I will in fact give you a small instance saying, look, maintaining originality of the things and entering into a transformation to become another original is something not always be a derivative thing. Like if I say that something happening in Bangalore, Pune or Delhi, having replicated in Bhubaneswar would make them another Bangalore, Pune or Delhi. Bhubaneswar in its true essence will always remain Bhubaneswar as it is.
Always.
But then you have learnings from those points.
Yeah.
That having the qualitative nature of transformation more than the quantitative nature. When I say quantitative nature is that we bring in a lot of IT companies expecting that we will become an IT hub.
Yeah.
But then we haven't worked in our schools. We haven't worked out on our colleges, universities, the youth, the kind of projects they might have entered during their academic process. So they don't join your IT hubs. So you'd never turn into IT hub.
Yeah.
If I put out a museum tomorrow saying that this would be the biggest exhibitory museum in Bhubaneswar, which would put out all the artistic works of the people in Bhubaneswar. But I have never opened art schools. I have never encouraged people in doing. So who will you get?
Yeah.
Who will you get to put out their art stories over there? We have done we will put out a wonderful stage where dancers and singers come, but we have pushed everyone into engineering colleges. We don't have now artists in the city.
Yeah.
Of course, Odisha will never get rid of that, because still there are people who preserve this part of the culture heritage a lot more. Coming back to the point which we were discussing is that learnings from one ecosystem should not be quantitative. It should be qualitative in nature. That if the XYZ has worked for ABC cities, I need to find my PQR to make the LMN of my city.
Exactly. So we have to get the conclusion and then use that formula.
That how it would work out.
We don't use to use the result. We need to use the formula that okay, since these were the cases for them, it worked out. But our case is different, and we want to evaluate what ideas would work. So maybe since you provided an example, maybe that since there were a lot of students who were already known to computers and softwares,
Yes.
so the idea have worked out. So we might have that X factor in our locality where the students have that particular talent. It
It
might
could
be
be
art.
anything else.
It
Yeah,
could be
it could
culture.
be anything else. It
Yeah.
could be IT. I see a lot of upsurge into particular sectors and domains in Odisha, in Bhubaneswar, where startups are looking forward to work more and more into that segment. So might be we should put out more in
Yeah,
that, and
yeah.
then we become hub of that particular sector.
Yeah. So rather than only seeing and observing and implementing, we have to understand that what particular thing can work out.
One big advantage of that is that you continue to hold the best that you are,
Mhm.
not adopting something which you have to learn and work out,
Yes.
but you have to improvise on what we already have an expertise.
Yeah.
The
So
other part of it is also that you become an expert of something which then the world looks for.
yes.
Don't just become another for me to kind of thing for
Yeah.
another thing.
Yeah. So improvising on the strengths.
On the strengths, yeah.
Okay. So the next question is, if you had a time machine, which era in history would you choose to visit and what would you do there?
That's a tough one. because I love history, and there are various segments of the historical domain that I am aware of, where everything is very unique of something or other. But if you ask me particularly that what interests you more, I would like to see that era, uh, because these days we talk a lot about it, that how the evolution of India, Indian constitution, Indian values and ethics have come into picture. So I would love to see that part of the India's evolving just after post independence,
Mhm.
when India was taking shape as a country.
Mhm.
Had been a long period
Yes.
of colonial rule, of captivation, of invasions, and then something, a freedom country or an independent country, how it evolved. Because then you get to know about all those controversies these days that popping up, knowing that what's the truth behind it.
Yes.
So you can say that I would like to get between the
So
1950s
a lot of
and
policy
60s.
making, a lot
Absolutely.
of government body emerging.
And what was the reason behind? What was the logic and reason for creating or laying out these kind of principles in terms of the codification of the constitution,
Yes.
or creating these constitutional bodies, institutionalizing? What
Yes.
was the future vision of the leaders then?
Yes.
I think that holds a lot of significance these days, because
Which if we don't know, we might lose the essence.
the essence of
Yeah.
the things for what it was created.
Yeah, because they developed a particular set of institution or maybe particular set of rules to avoid something.
Yes.
Which we might not know at this current stage.
And we might be misusing that particular
Yeah.
thing right of now to formulate something which it was never intended for.
Yeah. And maybe in the coming years we try to understand that, okay, since we removed this because of a short-term problem, but that particular thing is giving a long-term problem.
A long-term problem. Yeah. A lot of these things come up.
Okay. So what's the piece of advice or mantra that you often turn to when you need motivation or encouragement?
See, I have personally believed that nothing can replace a human touch, because you can have a lot of quotes, books, scriptures, uh, objects, but nothing replaces a human touch. So I will always prescribe anyone who asks me for a suggestion on this note that you should have one person in your life whom you could reveal all your secrets. Because then that very particular person will rescue out of a situation where you are not in a mood to look back and find out some good moment in your past. We often become oblivion to our future, to the all the good things happening when we are personally disturbed. And that's how we get demotivated. There's a process to get demotivated. For the cost of time, I would not elaborate much about it, but there's an entire process. How do you get demotivated? Because you think you get demotivated out of something which you yourself started, you were not put into. Let's say your team tomorrow starts working on a new project with good plans, with thinking a lot about it, that this would result into that, but slowly you find that does not come. Things are not happening the way it is happening. How do you take a motivation? How do your team gets a little again pumped up and say that, no, yeah, we have dealt with all these situations earlier also. We will also come out through this. We will find out something better. Might be we were working on a wrong track and we would have gone a long way, but we have come across. So you need a friend who suggests you this.
Yes.
You need a mentor who holds you back.
Who shows the past achievements.
Yeah. Who tells you that you were the one who came out of that thing and you will be able to do that.
Yes.
Because at a moment of distress or demotivation, you don't find yourself in a comfortable position to pump yourself.
Yes.
A self-motivation is nothing bad. But there should be, doesn't work every time, and you should have someone in your life always to tell you that ये एक वक्त है जो गुजर जाएगा, and this will not stay longer. You can hold on to what you are. You are a beautiful person. You will remain beautiful after this situation also.
Yes. Okay. So, sir, can you share your personal journey from academia to your current role as COO at AIC-Nalanda Institute of Technology Foundation? What were the pivotal moments in your career?
See, we have been discussing past half an hour, and I think every answer that I have been giving to you or talking to you people about, I am passing through all these moments, right?
Yes.
Because I don't want to advise something which I haven't gone through myself.
Yeah.
So, see, I had a very normal life. It was not a very high flying one, not amidst people who are of very high stature. I was from an average middle class family where you have just a brother besides me, mother and father, 4 people in the family, enjoying our festivals, enjoying our vacations. Kabhi bahut zyada not moving out too much, not traveling a lot. Zyada se zyada I used to go to Raurkela, which was my maternal grandparents were there. So a very average life till my schooling was done. I am a pass. My school was Stewart School, Bhubaneswar, and then average middle class family, and that 2 boys. When they come out of schools, you have a lot of rush to what I'll become. Every other person you meet will ask you, "Ki kya banna chahte ho? What do you want to become in your life?" So following that, I was willing to become a doctor because, and it was of course from a service point of view, because I had seen by then a lot of ailments in my family happening, very closed ones suffering from a lot of things. So this came as a natural thing. But then I realized that with passing time, that this profession would kill a lot of my time, where I might not be able to venture out something very interesting.
Yeah.
Because then it gives you. I won't say that medical profession would give you a routine, monotonous life, but then it is not for the explorers. It is for the people who are dedicated for a cause and very service oriented.
Yeah.
And if the aspects of commerce kept apart, you have to be every time ready for something.
Yes.
And you cannot be, I want to have my private space kind of thing. So I was never meant for that. I discovered it at a very early stage that I want to give up my privacy for the cause of the profession. I couldn't make it up that. So then I thought that something into arts or commerce would help, but something still hold on me to science. And then eventually, as I was sharing you, I am a civil engineer by education. Continued for a very little period into it as profession, and then destiny chose me to be an educationist. I started teaching people in the engineering college, and particularly the same alma mater. So while teaching students, I was fortunate to spend a lot of time with myself, reading the books that I always wanted to read, meeting a couple of people, making out my own travels, adventures. I had been to the Himalayas for almost a month,
Okay.
taking a long break. and then making solo journeys, rediscovering that what you want to do. So all the preachings that I have been making is out of all those deliberations that I might have been subjected to. And then eventually, um, I started socializing people. I wasn't always a uh, getting into too much talk kind of guy. But then I love to talk to people. When you know a little, no, you share a much.
Yeah.
So, so those discussions kept on happening, talking to people, interacting more and more. And these were all preparations, as I said. These were all preparations so that I could come to Wooble Nexus one day and talk to Akash. Okay. So, so that happened that way. And then, as I was mentioning about Sri Aurobindo, that his teachings had a great impact on me. His writings had a great impact on me. I had frequent visits to the Pondicherry Sri Aurobindo ashram, meeting a lot of philosophers and psychologists and lot many people from that. Then it completely changed my perceptions about education, how it should happen,
Yes.
what is the new education kind of. And fortunately, then it was all about Atal Innovation Mission, which is the organization that I'm part of or mandated from or supported by. My host institution, Nalanda Institute of Technology, got this Atal Innovation Mission's Atal Incubation Center project. And I was much more into that. But then what was the best part of me getting into the startup ecosystem is the innovation angle.
Yeah.
When I found that uh, leapfrog transformations, which will take all our lives, all our lifestyles on a longer course, will be basically a result of innovation and disruption.
Yeah.
We cannot take any more small footsteps, baby steps to reach something where the world is right now. Innovations and transformative technologies, disruptive technologies will decide the further course of action.
Obviously.
So, sowing the seeds of innovation, information, transformation right from the kindergarten level, where you don't teach them anymore just letters and alphabets, but also the uses and the application.
Yes.
And making it more as a part of living, not just a part of the information and knowledge that you carry. And then slowly from the school education to the college education to the graduation, post graduation, until the moment when you decide that I'm not going to serve, but I will have people employed under me and create job and wealth for myself as well as the economy and the country at large. So these values attracted me more into the startup ecosystem. As I said, I had a lot of trainings there mandated from Atal Innovation Mission. My host institution also helped me a lot into that. And in 2020, we had the inception of Atal Incubation Center, NITF, or Nalanda Institute of Technology Foundation, where I started my career as incubation manager. Then it was very different from what I has been doing from again 6-7 years, but this was that thing that I always wanted to do. To meet to people, to know more about something. Every moment we listen to in an average 10 to 20 new ideas in a week.
Yeah.
So that excites me a lot. That excites me to hold on to this particular profession because it's very exciting. You keep on meeting more and more people, these youngsters who tell you that what our future is going to be with all the disruptions that they are bringing behind in every sector, may it be to the class of agriculture, health, education, the way we transact, fintech startups, you know what disruption they are making, the way you socialize, how is the new age social media going to be. I would commend here the work that Wooble is trying to do by creating personal portfolios, and people would then be able to create a completely different set of their identity that would be very much defined by them, and that is also what people would love to know them at first instance.
Exactly.
Okay, so these are certain things which have came across my evolution of where I am today, and I think there's much more that I will be doing. I'm not too old to stop exploring. So I know there's much
It's
at
just
some
the
point
beginning.
of time, some other Akash will ask me that what was it from 2023 to now?
Maybe myself again.
Oh, why not? Why not?
Okay. So, sir, Odisha is an emerging hub for startup innovation and entrepreneurship. How do you view the startup ecosystem in the state, and what unique opportunities does it offer for aspiring entrepreneurs?
See, I'll come to the second part of your question first.
Mhm.
Because the uniqueness of any ecosystem or uniqueness of any business proposition also, because they have to be married together, the society and the idea,
Yeah.
starts from identifying the problem. What I have always wanted our startups to think about is that if in any nature you want to be unique,
Mhm.
the uniqueness will only come if you address a recognized problem. It won't happen by creating a problem and become the solver of it.
Yeah.
I cannot say that every time I will have to induce a user behavior and then tell them that the behavior should be like this and I am facilitating the behavior.
Yeah.
It would be very much like introducing the virus and finding out the vaccine. So those disruptions are not necessary.
Mhm.
The empathy with a problem is actually the genesis of a unique proposition.
Very true.
Unless you become very one or empathetic in its true sense
Mhm.
to the problem that you actually want to solve,
Mhm.
you won't be able to get that high standard of uniqueness. Because at some point of time, you will lose that moat, that competitive advantage or that unfair advantage, where people who have gone deeper into that part of the technology, that part of the behavior, that part of the customer persona will tackle you down.
Mhm.
Hence, for startups in Odisha, I'll tell you that we have been focusing a lot into solution and implementation. We need to think about the problems more and get identified and empathized with the problem more. And then to the first part of your question, that how is it evolving and what are the newer horizons or avenues that or uniqueness of the ecosystem, why startups should come down, is that we are a barren land of opportunities. We are impregnated with a lot of possibilities.
Mhm.
There's everything that Odisha can offer you. A wonderful land
Yes.
with a good climatic conditions across the state. We have high mountains
Mhm.
to the coasts.
Yes.
A very unique state you would find. We have a large coastline, enough of water resources. We are now an energy surplus state. We don't have to carry about our food securities.
Yes.
We don't have to care about our concerns. If I say about most of the urbanization progress, I am very positive about the new Odisha that would be rising very soon. And it is out of these things that I am with a conviction that uh, do hold on to the roots of Odisha, because then you will be able to have a first mover advantage.
Mhm.
If you move out of this ecosystem, you might not get into a similar kind of state of opportunities in the future. If you are trying to do something, you still have a lot of time to explore in Odisha.
Yes.
Uh, Above all, you have a stable government for a very long period of time, so that has its own pros and cons, but I will see to the pro part of it more, because now you have some kind of stability in the system which is never achieved very easily.
Yes.
You know how the functionaries are, and even if at some juncture we will have a cataclysmic change, it would not be that sudden and shattering, because by now the policies, the implementation agencies are having a strong foundation. So now whatever we will build will be over that foundation, but there will be not an upheaval change.
Yeah.
You are not going to drag out a lot of things. You might have a little we do a renovation, but we don't reconstruct the building anymore. So for startups to let themselves explore the horizon of Odisha's ecosystem is easier as of now. Going ahead, it will be a clumsier space, because you know what attracts things to be the best of its kind. You want to do something new in agriculture, it's easier to implement in Odisha.
Yes.
Because you have still small parcels and pockets of those micro agricultural ecosystems where you can work on your progression. You want to do something into the field of IT, you have a wonderful population of young people uh, who are being skilled in the process of skilling, and you could when you are in the process of skilling and you have a good mass of the population who is open to learning, then you are also having a great opportunity to mold them the way you want your industry to perform.
Yes.
You don't have hard and fast rules for them. The flexibility in terms of upskilling the new manpower is there. So in every aspect, I see the Odisha's entrepreneurial ecosystem being very bright in the coming days. And hence, I'll suggest anyone who wants to start a startup, it's the best time to do.
Great. Very nice answer. And I would also personally say that I have visited a lot of states and cities while I was about to start this Wooble. So I visited Hyderabad, Delhi, Bangalore, and to understand what the opportunities can be and how difficult it is to make it to Bhubaneswar. Like, because everyone who knew me that okay, I'm doing something with software, they obviously suggested only one option, that is Bangalore, because talents can be easily found out, and maybe
Team building is
easy, and
easier. You can reach out to people who are
different ecosystem is made where different startups are there. But then I found out that okay, everything is good, but the basic things which we require in life are missing out. Maybe in Bhubaneswar we have roads where I cannot compare the difference between roads in Bangalore and Odisha, Bhubaneswar. The roads are very good, they are wide open, and we can go by ourselves. That is not possible in Bangalore. There people are working to make startups which can deliver food in 10 minutes, or maybe daily things in 10 minutes, but to reach their office they are taking hours. So there's a deep things where which I would say that in this current scenario it is good opportunity, and if people don't grab this opportunity now, it will become
difficult in the
coming days, because new people will also join.
Above all, Akash, we have fresh air and natural water.
Okay, so I was going to talk about Delhi, but you talked. Okay, so as someone deeply involved in the startup community, can you share some best practices or success strategies that you have seen startups in Odisha employ to thrive in a competitive market?
I would have loved to give a generic answer to this, but as you mentioned Odisha, also I'll keep it to my observation about or my assessment of the startups in Odisha. People might not feel a little good about it and take as a pinch of salt if they want to, but we'll have to accept at some point of time the dilemmas that we are going through. See, I personally think, and I respect entrepreneurs a lot, because I have always believed and suggested my team back in office also that you need to, at any cost, respect that entrepreneurial spirit in that guy who is trying to build out something, because he hasn't agreed to serve someone. That's the reason why he has become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So don't expect always to be a master to them and tell them that you do this and you don't do this. Even being a mentor.
Yeah.
Because वो किसी की नहीं सुनना चाहता था, इसीलिए उसने खुद का बनाया. Right? So that should be that should be respected in its true letter and spirit first. Having said all this, I would say that a good entrepreneur should always be open to criticism, because you never know what comes actually as a good friend suggestion. So you might have people who would be keeping you high, saying that yes, everything is running high, but sometimes a cynical suggestion is also of a great help, because that gives you a eye opener.
Yeah.
Which I don't find these days. The young ones are so not very open towards criticism. They still think that criticism in any manner is a demotivation, which it isn't. The second is that keeping that aspect of learning open. Why do we want to get into a startup, build a startup, or become an entrepreneur? Because the vision is high. I have come into a state. I am not saying about those entrepreneurial business which are practiced, established businesses kind of thing. Not opening retail chain stores, not opening another plant or factory, or not getting into heavy asset businesses, not becoming another IT farm or anything. Just an IT farm or something. I'm talking about those businesses which have started with an idea of solving a problem and giving a solution which is not just adaptable but also scalable.
Yes.
So keeping that scalability factor intact, you will always have to think that what is the newness I can bring into my business? What are the new initiatives? What are the best practices and learnings that I can carry with me, which will help me out eventually to create something which is bigger than anybody's dream. And it's my dream that I want to keep it big and large and beautiful. For that, you cannot shut your doors of knowledge.
Yes.
You cannot say that I don't want to learn this aspect because ye mera wo consultant kar lega. I don't want to learn about legal because my lawyer will take care of it. I don't want to look into the accounts because my finance guy will do it. Being a founder or a startup founder, if I put it in double quotes also, you need to know something about everything in your business.
Completely.
That's what I think is a big gap that I find in the founders. You ask them that why these numbers on your pitch deck are as such. Then you tell that my CA had suggested. No offense to the CA, he will suggest you, but you need to know that why you have put these numbers in your pitch deck.
Yes.
And when you are approaching someone, you need to have an objective. It cannot be a free flow call.
Yeah.
You take them to investors, you take them to the mentors. They spend a lot of time in introducing and explaining and convincing the person on the other side that whatever I'm doing is great.
Yeah.
That's what not you are there for. You are there to make a proposition, to make something about telling them, letting them know that what are the good things you are doing, and then also to take a feedback and insight from them that whether it is going to work or not from their perspective.
Yeah.
Now, how far you carry that perspective, how much you are able to implement that feedback is always upon you. Suppose tomorrow in your team you want to push an idea. How much everybody imbibes is a different story.
Yeah.
But they cannot shed that whatever comes from the boss, I'm not going to listen to it. So you cannot have hard fast mentalities attaching to the cause. That's not how business works.
Yeah.
Business is a very dynamic ecosystem and you will have to keep on changing, evolving, learning.
Yeah. So, sir, I keep meeting different professionals and, of course, students. But I find that now the professionals are also inclined towards having their own journey or maybe start their own venture to some extent. So everyone has it in their back of mind that, okay, I have been serving in the corporate world for 3 years, but it's been a time and now I want to start something of my own. So what they do, their natural process is they start with an idea. They say that, okay, this is my idea and I'm ready to put money into it, and I'll also continue doing my job. And once the particular business grows up and starts making a revenue on which I can survive, then I will switch into the startup.
True.
So I just want to understand, how is this idea to you? Or
see, giving an observation to this is quite easier, but I'll tell you that this is very much part of a cyclical process that always happens. Why do people are willing to think in that direction? Or why do professionals want to get into opening up their own businesses? It is not always for the fancy needs or the dreams only which they might be pursuing. It is also because they might have understood that what this particular preoccupation of mine can be improvised in a better way than probably the organization they are sticking to.
Yeah.
They might start feeling that these people have been thinking in an obsolete way. I will bring in some kind of modernity into innovativeness into that thing. So that having that capacity built in them, they are always free to begin wherever they want to. But then if we talk about some kind of inconsistency or some kind of altering getting developed into the system, it is not. Because I don't believe it in that way. Like people say that AI would take a lot of jobs. AI would take all the traditional jobs.
Yeah.
But AI will create jobs of new character.
Yeah.
Of new type of jobs it will be created.
Obviously.
Right?
Yeah.
Like we always believed that computer will take jobs.
Or maybe calculators will take.
Look at the IT industry.
Yeah.
It has grown bigger than the manufacturing. Yes. Though the quantum is high, but the presence of the IT industry is larger.
Yeah.
And with Industry 4.0, it is a complete marriage between IT and manufacturing industry. You are operationalizing, automating everything everything, in fact.
Helping every sector to some
Every
extent.
sector, every domain in the industry is going to be transformed in the industry 4.0
Obviously.
sector, because then you have automation and IoT and IGT in everything, everything, every other thing. So might be that we will be making out shift from one kind of occupation or professions to a newer kind of professions.
yeah.
So that evolution will always be there. Nothing to be worried about. Neither the employer should be unhappy that a lot of my people are leaving out because they want to start something of their own, because then you get another chance to hire something of hire
Someone
more
new.
people with a newer trait of set of skills.
Yeah.
Right. So that openness should be there. In a transformating moment or in a transfigurative sense, it is always a difficult part to be in that juncture when the transformation is going through. But once the process initiates itself, it settles down in a wonderful way. And then you will at some point of time again talk about industry 5.2, where the 4.0 jobs have become irrelevant.
Yeah.
So it's a cyclical sequence. It will take its course.
Okay. So sir, my question is it good to have two things being done together, or it is good that we the professionals maybe for their job security or maybe for their financial stability save some amount of time and money and then dedicate themselves for the startup? Because according to me, what happens, the main challenge is till the startup is not making a revenue. That time they have
That's
to
true.
that have to put their everything into that, and
That's absolutely true, Akash, because there should not be whims and fancies, as I said. No, you cannot take a whimsical decision around creating a business of your own and coming out of everything that you have been into for a long period of time.
yes,
Don't plunge till you don't have skills. It will land you down to take more injuries where it should not have been. You could have spent a little more time into the sector where you are, learned a lot of things, occupied yourself with everything that you want to be an expert of, and then taking a conscious call.
yeah,
But it should not be at the fancies, as I said. It cannot be just because my boss is not very good and I want to do something my own. These two statements cannot come together.
yes,
That I want to do something because I don't want to do the other. I want to do something because I know how to do it.
yes,
It should be this.
yeah,
It should not be I don't want to do this, hence I am doing this. This will be a good start, but will not end well.
exactly.
As you said, they will not make revenue because they didn't ever learn how to make revenue.
Yeah.
They just knew that how this idea would be formulated, but then you don't know how to take it to the market. You of course you can build a team, you can have like-minded people, discussed and propagated whatever is possible into that domain, try to learn as many skills as you can, and then you take a conscious call that I want to start a venture of my own.
Okay, and that should be because of their skills that they
Absolutely.
can provide value to, not because they want to be at a particular position.
No, never. In fact, I always say that a funded startup is not the only tag that startup should put in on their collars.
Yeah.
That my aim is that I'll get funded and I'll come out in XYZ article or a newspaper saying that this startup has raised this much funding.
Yeah.
So there's a lot before that one line that you see that comes in bold as the title. But what it takes to get that one liner is the operations, the management, the entire idea of holding a team. You should be happy when your team says that, sir, you are a good boss. First, this satisfaction, and then the rest follows.
Okay. So moving ahead with the next question, sir. In a rapidly evolving digital landscape, what trends and opportunities do you see for platforms like Wooble Me to further enhance their reach and impact?
See, I am, as I said, I am very positive about the way people are now interacting with each other and how the digital ecosystem is enabling that. We talk about metaverse,
Yeah.
we talk about 3D imaging, and a lot many things in that sense, laser imaging, procreation of digital selves.
Yeah.
So, lot many things we talk about these days about how you interact with people. This also gives us a test and an idea that people want to put a lot of what they are into public.
Yeah.
Facebook gave us a good test of that, saying that why don't you put out some of your great happenings and people would like, dislike, and comment over it.
Yeah.
Correct? Twitter gave us a scope to put our view on, in fact, everything that we can do.
Yeah.
Turned each of us into a journalist.
Yeah.
And then LinkedIn,
Yeah.
where you want to put out list down all your professional traits.
Yes.
I see Wooble Me as something which will bring out the whole of me and the truth of me at one point,
Yeah.
at one platform. And of all that, I myself authenticatedly want to put out in public about myself. And how is this information going to be interpreted also?
Yes.
Because I decide that when you want to know about my education, this is what.
Yes.
You don't have to stalk me over a lot of scrolls and tell me that kahan se aaya hai, kya kiya hai. It's all put out in a wonderful organized way. I have gone through the platform looking into how it looks like and how you can have a very organized way of knowing a person professionally. And if that person wishes to bring out the personal self of him or the creative part of him, even that's a possibility also.
Yeah.
So these kind of platforms are going to rise, and I think to start something with Wooble Me is a great idea. You will have multiple facets to it attached in the due course of time.
Yes.
And I will also suggest you that if Wooble Me has particular components for a particular set of occupation or profession, and how do you engage your community?
Yeah.
That's very important again.
Yes.
Because any social media platform or such kind of informative portfolios or as you say as profiles do flourish because you have engagement with the audience as well as the author,
Yes.
right? Whoever puts out his information, you tell him that how could you get on to increase your reach.
Yes.
How is Wooble going to help you out in bringing you to the list of those or to the viewership of those who are like-minded.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, suppose a group of people want to have a literary fest.
Yeah.
How would they know that who are around?
Correct.
Huh?
So,
So
sir,
the community engagement, community-based engagement
yeah.
is a great idea to see Wooble Me expanding as a network.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So, sir, we have added one feature into Wooble Me where we are onboarding different mentors, the top mentors in different segments. Maybe someone is a mock interviewer, someone is a very good optimizer for job, someone is a very good consultant for jobs outside India.
Correct.
So we are bringing them into the platform, and students can go and book a slot with them. Obviously, on some charges depending upon the consultant's fees, they can book a slot and can directly one-to-one ask their queries. Because what personally I have faced, that if I am very good in a particular subject and someone comes to me that, okay, how is physics? So if I'm good at physics, someone comes that, okay, how if I take physics as my career? I will always say, very good, it's a growing thing, go ahead. But someone from the chemistry background would say, why not chemistry? Someone from the computer science would say, why not computer science? So I think there is a gap that institutions have specialized faculties who can provide them the information knowledge on their part. But an overall view can be given by someone from the third point of view. That, okay, since you are good at these three things, this is how you should take your career ahead.
Absolutely. And it is a two-way thing. How do I take the suggestions coming from the other side, and what wills me, or what kind of test I have towards the suggestions that are given to me. But at any point, it's a wonderful suggestion to have someone who could suggest me,
Yeah.
to reach out to someone who could suggest me,
Yeah.
and to know a little bit of that person and to have a pre-sync
Yeah.
before we actually have a communication.
Exactly. So directly the industry experts can be reached out and asked that, okay, what's happening in that particular
Honestly,
industry. So that was amazing. So moving ahead with the last question. As a leader in the education sector, what do you believe are the most critical skills and mindset that students should cultivate to thrive in the digital age and rapidly changing job market?
Of course, you have to be good orientation with your tech skills.
Okay.
Technology is something which cannot be at any cost left behind. You cannot say that I am unable to pay through PhonePay or Paytm or any of these transaction based platforms. You cannot prefer to,
Yeah.
because there will be going ahead many moments
Yeah.
where I had a very small article today coming across where it said that might be digital economy
Yeah.
or digital currency over a decade would outthrow the physical currency
Yeah.
because it gives a lot of ease of operation. It's about the regulation, how it's going to come up. The governments in G20 also, there was a
Yeah.
very large discussion on that part. So might be we are entering into a new economical era
Yeah.
where these things will come up. The other thing I would suggest the students or those who want to understand about technology is to keep learning and enhancing their skills and also putting that forth.
Yeah.
That how much are you actually imbibed into the technology? What are the new skills that you have learned? You know about all these multiple certification based courses that comes up. You have to keep on learning, unlearning, relearning. So all these things need to happen.
Yes.
You have to believe in yourself, having that attitude of learning new things and at the same point of time applying them.
Yeah.
And application non-application based knowledge is very much equal to illiteracy.
Yes.
If you know something and you are not applying it anywhere, it is of no use. So learn the things which you think will actually lift you up to a stature that you want to achieve. So yes, you need to learn technology. You cannot make yourself devoid of technology. Second is to keep on upskilling yourself. Second, and third is to open up yourself.
Yes.
And I think that's what Wooble is also trying to do.
Yes.
That you need to open up yourself. You cannot be, in any sense, be genuinely introvert.
Obviously.
You cannot choose to be introvert anymore. The world needs expression.
Yes.
All the answer to everybody's depression is to expression. You express more and you are out of all kind of distress.
Otherwise, good talent will be hidden only.
Naturally, no, I may be great genius of lot of the things, but it won't come somebody else's recognition. No, I cannot be have everything self-claimed. So whatever you know, whatever you think you are the best of, you should be vocally sounding of it.
Okay.
Maybe on Google Pro.
Thank you so much, sir. So, any special suggestion for our team or Wooble community?
See, I would always suggest that you people are doing a job where you will be dealing with lots of people, right? With people's psychology, people's mentality, with the trends that is there in the market. How can that be imbibed into your business? How can that be? So keep all your senses open. When you sleep, eat, drink, whatever you do, think about that how my decisions as a developer, my decision as a strategist, my decision as someone who communicates with people, how am I going to impact a larger population? What learning of mine and what decision should I take that it would be the best decision and that becomes a part of my identity? Your identity is always linked of what you are going to do for the people, because that's what your profession demands in being in Google and anywhere you go, where you are catering the need of a large mass. You will always create an identity of your own. When you become one of that mass, you will lose your identity.
Thank you so much, sir.